Hey, this is Glendon, and welcome to the next phase of the boot camp. I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and if you remember, I did say there would be homework and activities. There's been a little bit of that, but I've really been taking it easy on you. So it's time to crank up the intensity. We're going to discuss a lot of things that were in the materials that you were emailed, plus much, much more. This whole gist of this course is to take you from where you are to a better place in terms of getting stuff, making more money, and running an efficient business as possible. And I cannot stress the word business. One of the biggest problems in this industry is it's only good for part-time endeavors. You should just do it part-time. You surely shouldn't count on it. And what that says to me is you shouldn't really count on yourself, because this is the type of business that is dependent upon you getting up most days, if not every day, and working your ass off. And that's where a lot of the problems occur. This program is geared for full-timers. Make adjustments as required. If you remember earlier, I had put out that I wasn't going to do the beginner or the intermediate sessions because I have books that cover that easily, and there's no point in going back over that. So if you're listening to this or you have an interest in this, you would definitely want to be more than a part-timer in terms of effort and income. And that's the goal, to make sure that you're successful in doing this by giving you all the information that I can. And part of that is the foundation. One of the reasons, as I look back over my resale career, stacked upon stack, the foundation naturally just laid itself, from having an extensive sales background to starting and failing in several different businesses. I had no clue how that was going to help me with the storage auction business, because essentially I learned how to adapt to several different situations rather quickly. And that's the challenge that storage auctions bring. You go out, you get some units. Part of the thrill is you don't know what's in there. But that's also the challenge, because you may have something awesome. It may be great, it may be valuable, but it may be very difficult to resell because you're not set up for that type of item. And that's something that's starting to happen more and more. I think we're at the point where casual interest is going to dissipate. Still going to be pretty strong. This fall is going to really test it out. But going forward after that into next summer, this thing is going to be pretty much watered down, and the opportunities are going to be staggering for those who stick around, because people really just don't want to work that hard. And when you have a system, it's not as difficult as you would think. Now, you really have to ask yourself this question: what is best for you? There are so many different ways to be in this business that at times it's confusing, because I went through that whole matriculation of doing it part-time. At points I was a picker. At points I did estate cleanouts. At points I did delivery. All this stuff was so interwoven that it's hard to kind of separate it, because to some part, you're going to be doing all of that if you're in this business. And part of that challenge is what really works for you, because this is the session where you need to get your pen, paper, and also you can review this as many times as you want to if you can't grab that stuff pretty quickly. But you have to figure out what mix is going to work for you. You have storage auctions, you have picking, you have Craigslist, wholesale buyouts, estate buyouts, and haul-off service. At some point, all of those elements were part of my business, with a heavy concentration on storage auctions. Well, say you're in a small town and there are not that many storage auctions. How do you make money with them? Your option is to travel or figure out how to become a community resource, because if no one in your town is doing it, then essentially the market's wide open and you have the internet to help you with other things. So this is a kind of a vetting process. First thing you're going to do is figure out the viability of storage auctions. Like I said, if you're in a small town with few to none, you already know what it is. I have a lot of people, from Canada or people from other countries, and it's like, hey, I really would like to get into it, but they don't have any. And I was like, well, it's pretty much been solved for you. Next, with picking. Now, picking is something that can be done pretty much anywhere. However, part of the picking conundrum is eBay. If you're in Timbuktu and you're picking and you're selling a lot of stuff on eBay, you got a whole nother challenge right there. But sometimes you have to work with what you have where you are. So if storage auctions aren't really kicking in your area, picking may be the way to go. Let's talk about Craigslist. Craigslist, to me, is one of the best things to ever come to this planet Earth. You can make money, you can find inventory, and I'm going to devote quite a bit of time to Craigslist because if you're willing to work it, and understand, it will be frustrating at times, you could make a living just strictly from Craigslist, but you will be living on Craigslist. This isn't a type of endeavor where you can do it for an hour a day. Now, you can do it for an hour a day and make some money, but if you want to make, let's put a number out there, 2, 3, 4 grand a month, you'll be living on there every day, 7 days a week. And the reason is this: you never know when an opportunity that has your name on it pops up. That's why you have to be super, super vigilant. Craigslist has made it extremely challenging to troll and crawl their site and to automate their site. For some reason, the scammers are pretty good at, sending you bogus emails and stuff. And even to a degree, they're pretty much frustrated with Craigslist. That's great if you like Craigslist, but it sucks if you're trying to sell and market on Craigslist. Part of the challenge is, and once again, this is another inventory deal, you have to ask yourself, what are you really good at? What do you know a lot about? What do you have an extensive knowledge of? I mean, these are things that will help you be really successful with Craigslist. I'll give you an example. For a while, I had this fascination with Mac computers. But being the deal hound that I am, I didn't really want to get a new one. So I went on Craigslist, and over the course of a week, I became a Apple expert. I knew that if the computer was less than a year old, it had a warranty on it. And for $169, I could extend that warranty, which gave me another 2 years of extra protection on a used item. That's pretty freaking rare to be able to flip something like that. And I searched, and I bought my first 2 Macs off of Craigslist. Both had warranties, and both were in great condition, came with the warranty, software, and everything. Now, it took me 3 weeks to get them because I would, every day someone lists one on there, and you go down the rabbit trail. And it's not really something you want to have in your house, or it's a little beat up, or there's something. There was something. But I was able to save pretty much now $1,500. And this is the beauty. If you really master this, not only did I save money, but when I sold them, because I kept them clean, I knew how to present them, I sold them for exactly what I paid for both of them. Did you hear what I just said? I used these computers for 6 months. Then I turned around and sold them because Apple came out with more powerful computers that were slated for video production. Essentially, if you're not doing a lot of video, you don't need the i7 chip. But if you're doing a lot of video, it makes a world of difference. But essentially, even if you don't know about a certain thing, you can learn in a matter of days or weeks by just applying yourself. So that's a serious way that you can make money with Craigslist. There's so many categories. There's so many things. There's collectibles. There's books. It's just you have to pick something. One of the problems that people experience that I see is they can't pick anything. They're trying to like whatever's the best opportunity at the right time, I'm going to jump on it, which kind of doesn't work out if you have no experience in nothing. I mean, one of my uncles said that everybody needs to be good in something. I don't care what it is. And I do believe that, especially in this business. I don't care if you're good at records. I don't care if you're good at books, but you need to have something that you're an expert in, that you've devoted more than just a few hours of your time to learn about, because it can pay off. Now, wholesale buyouts, I'm going to lump some other stuff into that. There's the liquidation sales. There are essentially Best Buy returns. These things, they're out there. It's good that you can get some very nice stuff. Usually, the way that I understand it, I never did it. I looked into it. I didn't like the terms, because essentially you're going to buy a bunch of junk and you're going to have a few items that are salvageable to make money. I didn't like that, so I left it alone. But for those of you who really want to jump into it, it is an option. Now, this is the tricky one. Haul off service. Frequently, when I would go out to do an estate buyout, because these two are kind of together for me, one of the ways to close the deal was to solve some of their pain. And sometimes, just to keep my guys working, I would go out and set up a few clean outs, even though that was not our business, but there wasn't a lot going on with auctions. And I wanted to, when you get good help, you have to do what you have to do to keep them around, because no one's just going to be standing around waiting for you to call if they can't pay their bills. They're going to take the first viable opportunity. Well, I came up with this, and this went on for about 7 months, putting that up on Craigslist. We'll haul off anything, and really, really cheap, because the game was to get stuff. And we just tell them, it's like, if you got some junk, we'll haul it off. However, if you have something kind of nice that we can resell, if you make that part of the mix, we can come get it. And some people were like, no. And then there were some folks who was like, I got a room full of furniture I don't really want, but I want that stuff out my basement. Room full of furniture, bedroom set, Shivo mirror, some other nice stuff that made it a doable deal. The thing is, in this business, you have to be very creative and you have to think outside of the box. You must be able to essentially make something out of nothing, because of the way that you're looking at the angle, the way that you're judging the situation. Because there was this time when I worked for Rent a Crate, we had run out of crates. And I started panicking, and I called headquarters. I was like, we need more crates. We got these orders. And then Karen, she was one of the owners. She said, oh, no worries. We're just going to sweat the crates. And I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about? And essentially called Chris. He was the truck guy. And everyone that was finished with their crates, we'll just go by, pick them up. Next thing you know, in the morning, truck was full and was able to go out and fulfill the orders. And really, those crates never came back to the warehouse. And both the owners sat me down and said, look, as long as those crates are out there, they're making money. When they're in the warehouse, they really are just in the warehouse costing us money. And it just taught me how to look at an opportunity objectively.
After reviewing those choices of the resale business, you got to figure out what really works for you, and you have to pull emotion out of it. There are people who are hell-bent on doing storage auctions, but they live in a city that just doesn't support that desire. So we're going to actually make sure that you are in a place where you can make money. And if you're in one of the larger metropolitan areas, you're good to go. But there's some people that are kind of on the fringe. So what we're going to do, and this is a biggie, and this is something that has tripped up people for the last 3 years. In all versions of my book, right in the beginning, there's this section. Call up all of the storage facilities in your area and create your own auction hit list. And many people haven't done it. And the reasons that I am given, oh, there's these storage lists and they do a pretty good job and they give me the information and they let me know when the auctions are coming. And I'll just listen and I'll listen and I'll listen. One person who kind of went back and forth and actually said I had limited thinking on it, actually recently, due to their own hard work, found a storage trail that wasn't on one of those sites, and they got their first jackpot unit. And this person didn't want to tell me because they knew what was coming. And I was like, sent me the picture, and they were all happy. And I was like, where'd you get that? And just started talking. And I was like, and it hit me. It's like, you actually did here in year 2 what you were supposed to do in year 1, and you found a place that wasn't heavily hit, and you got this jackpot unit. And they were like, yeah. You're not going to hit every month, but by going out there, doing your own hard work, it is hard work. It's unforgiving. It's very challenging. I hear that some storage facilities have become very storage auction bidder friendly, and some are worse than ever. You have to keep pushing. You're going to have to call them, get the information. And this is the reason you want to do all this hard work. Sometimes people understand the practical application with the theory. When you make the phone calls, when you talk to people, you learn things that you're not going to learn on one of those storage auction lists. One big thing, and I'll give you a great example, public storage. Public storage is a multi-billion-dollar company. They paid $3 billion for SureGuard damn near, what was that, 2004, 2005? A long time ago. $3 billion cash. The SureGuard has operations in Europe, and that's what they wanted because Publix wanted a larger footprint in Europe. And when you hear the stuff that, oh, they go through the units, I have to tell you, I've gotten to know a lot of the guys who own these places, and some of your smaller operators, yeah, there's a propensity to that. But for these large companies that make millions per month, they give a rat's ass about going through someone's stuff. They may have an employee that's rogue, I will give you that, but that's not their business. Now with Publix, one of the things you will learn if you do your hard work is they run through district managers and managers, because they recruit people from various retail backgrounds who are not really accustomed to all the hard work, because the public storage system is challenging. These managers have a lot that they have to do, which is one of the reasons there's so many errors. But if you don't do that research and talk to people and build relationships, you'll never know this, that every time that the manager changes, i.e. property manager or district manager, the auctions are going to get messed up. And that's not a bad thing. I'll give you an example. Betty, she had the public storage location in Stone Mountain. For years, there was never anything there. Then one day she retired. For the next 14 months straight, awesome stuff came out that property. See, Betty was a very sweet and kind elderly lady. And she didn't think it was proper for folks to lose their stuff. So she did everything in her freaking power to make sure it didn't happen. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And for a long time, the word was out that property never had anything. For months. It was just 4 of us. For months. And with the things that are happening right now, that's coming back. I've seen the pictures. I've had a lot of people who are all of a sudden, they're getting like these great units and they're not paying an arm and a leg because the interest is dying. But even with the interest dying, you're still going to have to do your due diligence. You're still going to have to work hard. And your assignment for this part of the boot camp,
first thing you're going to do is create a day. That's why, if you're full-time, you're going to create a day if you've not done this, and you're going to spend the whole day fleshing out your neck of the woods. You're going to call up all the storage facilities. Some people will give you everything. Some people will put you on the mailing list. Like I said, this is going to be easier in 2012 than it was in 2009, but there will still be challenges. You can call up everybody. I don't care if they're brand new, old. I don't care if the storage facility looks like, if you breathed on it too hard, the place is going to fall over. That's not your concern. Your concern is to create a database of information that you got, that you know what's going on in your backyard. Now, what I used to do when I found out how frustrating it was, I broke it down like this. I'll get up in the morning, I will call a bunch of places as soon as they opened. And the places that call you back, and some will, record that number. Usually that's going to be a back number, and you're going to need that like you wouldn't believe on auction day. Just this whole data collection being a information junkie aspect I'm talking about, because by doing this, you'll get very important numbers sometimes. They may be smarter, but every time they would call me back, it was always from a back number, and I'll just write it down. Also, make sure that your Google Voice is in place. And this is real important. Call everyone through Google Voice. I don't care if you have a home phone, cell phone, still call through Google Voice. And when they call you back or you make the call, you have a record of all the calls you made, if you left a voicemail, whatever. You will have this database. And in the beginning, it will seem kind of silly, but I swear, 4 or 5 months from now, you'll need some information. You go there, wow, there it is. And to me, that's why I'm such a heavy proponent of Google Voice. I've got stuff that I had to look up from 4 years ago. I go in there and there it is. Voicemails. I mean, it's phenomenal that they give you that stuff. But set a day. Make sure your Google Voice is set. And you have to create either an Excel spreadsheet, if you're using Word, Pages spreadsheet. And what's going to go in there is the name of the property, their phone number, and their address. All that stuff goes in the sheet. If you are subscribed to one of the services and you have a lot of that stuff, go ahead and populate your spreadsheet with their information and still make the phone calls. Now, what are the questions that you're going to ask? First one is, do you have auctions? What day do you have them? Do you have a website? Do you have a sign-up sheet? That type of stuff. Also, ask them, what's the company's policy on overages? Like if the bidding goes beyond what is owed, what does the company do with the money? I know it sounds like a strange question, and a lot of them are going to look at you. Many of them won't even know. The reason you want to know this is, if this company holds on to the money, just lets you know what they're dealing with, because in most places it's a law that they should give the money back, but they set up their own policies. And it also will, if you talk to a manager that has been in the game for a while, they'll let them know that you're not a newbie, because newbies don't ask questions like that. They don't even know that. Also, ask, if you win more than one unit, does this facility give you extra time to clean out the units? That's a very important question. This is a really big challenge of high volume buyers, because you buy 4 or 5 rooms and they're like, oh yeah, you got 24 hours. That can be very pressing. Also, note who you talk to. Take a moment. It's like, if you didn't do it at the beginning of the conversation, make sure it's like, hey, what is your name? And introduce yourself. Because if you go to that auction and you recognize the person, it's like, hey, you're so-and-so, and yeah, thanks for the information you gave me. You've built yourself a little bit of goodwill with some managers. Some managers, they don't really care. They just want to go home earning money. And there's other ones that will look out for you if you treat them like people. It is one of the most thankless, low-paying jobs there is. Essentially, some of these managers live on property. They're never really off. So anyone that's being halfway decent to them on a regular basis, they tend to look out for you. I'm speaking from experience. That's just one of the things that you're going to get from doing your own work. All right, we're going to kick off part 2. Just to be clear, you're going to take a day, any day, and you're going to call up storage facilities, and you're going to build your own database. You're going to talk to people. You're going to introduce yourself as a storage auction buyer. You'll display a level of professionalism that 90% of the people out there will not. Now, to add even more logs to the fire, there's a lot of people that really don't know how to use Craigslist, and one of the reasons is, hey, I don't have anything that's Craigslist worthy, blah, 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 blah. All right, what you're going to do is go online, or, if you have hot stuff, you're going to post a bunch of fake ads. When I say fake ads, I'm not talking about you trying to scam anybody. This is a information gathering exercise for you. Say you have a nice camera, cell phone, anything that you know that's going to get a lot of hits. This is a way to learn how to set up your Craigslist ads in terms of the pictures, Google Voice number, and also utilizing the statistical feature in Photo Bucket. You don't have to do a lot. And when people call you, or if you choose, because I would recommend you just have people text you, just put in I'm only accepting text, and just see how many people hit your ad. How fast does your ad populate up in Google? And you'll be able to do it. You can just put your phone number in Google, and it'll tell you if it's in there. It's bam, this Craigslist ad. And just do that every day this week. The day would be Monday by the time you get this. Yeah, you can still do Monday. Well, more than likely, some of you are not going to look at this until Tuesday. So let's just say Tuesday through Saturday. One ad a day, hot item. Some of you know it's hot. Understand, you're not trying to sell. You're trying to gauge and build and get some practice with Craigslist. Because one of the things that can make you lose your mind is when you have nothing hot. It's going to happen. You're going to have items that are just regular, run-of-the-mill. You can't get a lot of money up for them. You have a lot of them, and the interest is kind of that will drive you crazy because you're I want something nice, something where people are calling me and I can make a lot of money. The thing is, in this business, there are many highs and lows. And when you're dealing with stuff, you're just going to have periods where you're just going to have regular blah stuff. But the thing is that regular blah stuff, if advertised correctly, if you keep pushing it, if it can be sold, because sometimes you have an item that just isn't worth the effort and you just need to go ahead and donate it or toss it. But this is just a way for you because, there's a lot of people who've never done this before. And you may have to revisit. And that's another reason you have the older books, because everything's going to be revised, but it's still going to stick around some core principles. And one of the best things that I ever came up with was the Craigslist Photo Bucket Picture Pimp. I mean, that right there still works. You still need clear pictures, and you still need to know if your ad's effective. And once again, Craigslist doesn't really like a lot of apps on their platform, so it's hard to know what the hell's going on. A lot of that's changing because people are making better stuff that's getting around it, and I have to do a little bit more research on that. But that's another thing, get in the habit of posting every day. Also, this is going to alert you to what Craigslist is doing. Craigslist sometimes leaves you alone. Sometimes they block you. It's a trip what's going on with them. But you have to get your reps in. So those are 2 assignments for this week. Gather your information, post the ad up on Craigslist, and oh yeah, there's more. Oh, you knew there would be more. We're going to get it in. We are going to get it in this week. Part 3 of your assignment. Since you're already on the Craigslist platform, you're going to do the make an offer deal, but you're not going to do it the way that so many people want to do it. As soon as your item comes up, they're like, hey, would you take 50% less? And you just put it up there. What you're going to do is go back 2 weeks on Craigslist, then you're going to go back 3 weeks, then 4 weeks. And you're going to find stuff that you're interested in. At this point, if they still have the item, they're going to be more receptive to a lowball offer. Because for one, time has it's punched them in the gut and softened them up. They're like, I've had this forever. Some people have forgotten to even list it on Craigslist. And this is your pitch. Hey, I was just cruising Craigslist and your item came up because, I put it in a search. You still have it? And they're like, yes. Because if they don't have it, then the phone call's over. But if they say yes, listen to the energy and enthusiasm in their voice, because they're like, oh God, someone's really called for this shit. And just like, well, you've had it for a while. Would you be open to then make your offer based on what you can get, what you think you could sell it? Because this is the thing with Craigslist. Many of the people who post items on Craigslist are extremely poor salespeople. They don't know how to present. They don't know what the market value of their item is sometimes. And it takes the reality of time to instill that into their little brains. Now, this is a great way for you to go out and get a lot of inventory. If 2 weeks doesn't work, go to 3. 3 doesn't work, go to 4. 4 doesn't work, go to 5. 5, go to 6. Some people, the stuff's going to be gone and they forgot to take down the ad. But you're not really concerned about those. If you make enough offers and phone calls or emails, you will hit, and it will shock you. It will shock you because you're getting stuff for the low. And this is a way that one of my webinar students 2 years ago who had nothing, using this method, he was able to build a $1,500 storage auction war chest to get 3 units, which he flipped on Craigslist and through garage sales. But the thing is, he had, like I said, nothing. He had no money. He bought my books. The guy was on unemployment. And it's about hustle, because with the recession, with the bad housing market, we still have people going out every weekend buying crap they don't need. And it continues to happen. There's people who are sitting on excess crappage that you wouldn't believe, and you just got to find them. And it's going to be like, no, it's not even going to be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. That is a lot. It's pretty much going to be trying to find big rocks in the haystack. Yeah, you're going to have to dig through some straw, but when you hit a rock, you'll know you hit a rock. And those are just some techniques to get you rolling, because we are about to enter into the fall sales season. It's not that far away. Typically, my last 10 years of being self-employed, I've been impacted by it. I mean, summer, things get kind of slow unless you're doing a tremendous amount of advertising. It gets slow. Then the kiddos go back to school. Then you just notice it. Then bam, we're into the holiday season. Then bam, it's tax season. Then whoa, it's spring. Then it's summer, and we slow down again. It's happened. I've watched this happen over and over and over again. So mark my words. If you're not prepared, this may help you start to get prepared, because those who are always looking for product to sell will always have product to sell. Many people buy storage units, or they get their inventory, then they stop looking for stuff and they try to sell it, and then they wonder, like, how come I don't have any new and nice sexy stuff? It's because you haven't really been sourcing it. You have to consistently gather information, you have to consistently source product, and you have to consistently market. You have to do all of those with a great deal of gusto. And that's one of the things that I learned as a salesman, because if you're a salesperson, but you're good at presentation, but you suck at closing, you're wasting your time. But if you're great at closing, you're great at presentation, but your prospecting skills are none, you'll never get in the door. I mean, it's just amazing. Some companies take individuals and put them together in teams just because of those talent levels. But if you can prospect, that's find your stuff. If you can present, that's get in front of somebody. If you can close, make the deal and get the money or get the item so you can sell it, you will be a very, very powerful person on this planet, because everybody can't do that. And that is a skill that transfers across many, many different industries, concepts, even academia. So just something for you to think about. But those are your assignments. Okay, it's time to insert the evil laugh. Just when you thought, oh, wait, man, I've got a lot to do, there's more. Now, this is something that a lot of people do not do. They may hit up their best friend or their daddy, if they're a daddy's girl, or a mama's boy, or mama of their mama's boy. then maybe a few cousins, and then a few coworkers, and then kind of stop. Part of your business is leveraging all of your resources. There are some of you who know dozens, and there are some of you who know a few hundred people. You need to come up with what kind of sales pitch you're going to have, but you need to know what's going to be your main area, what you're going to sell before you approach these people. Or if you have absolutely nothing going on, this is a time to put pen to paper and create a list of all the people you know. Should have did that from the actually that hasn't come yet. Oh yeah, this is not going to replace any of the parts of the book that you're getting emailed. That will resume again tomorrow. So yeah, you're going to have that going on too. But this is a little jumping ahead. Essentially create a list of everyone you know and open up your mouth and say, hey, do you have anything that your house, basement, whatever, that you don't want? And say anything. Do not go ahead and say, I'm looking for something small and valuable. No, anything. They may have a car in the backyard that they don't want that you could haul off for scrap value and make $200-300. Anything. You have to be open to anything, and you have to learn how to ask. We live in a culture that for some reason frowns upon people saying, hey, I want this, I want that, raising their paw and making that claim. It's kind of just supposed to happen. You're supposed to be so brilliant that people are just going to fall. It doesn't work like that. They're not going to fall to their knees at your brilliance. Most people are so preoccupied with uno numero, I really can't even see your brilliance, for real. So to be a good salesperson, you have to learn how to ask for the sale. You have to learn how to ask for the stuff. That's that's part 4 of your assignment. Create that list. And if you feel that you're going to get in the storage auction game, or you go, whatever way that you're going, you're going to need that list. That's going to be part of your core business, part of your core group of customers. Seriously, because you hear the old adage, oh, I'm not going to do business with friends. I'm not going to do business with family. But have you ever heard me say that? You never heard me say that in the videos. My partner, we sold so much stuff for her family, it was ridiculous. But they were not cheap, chintzy type people. We sold it. They agreed to the terms and everything went on. This went on for years. I sold things for my friends. Now, understand, I don't have a lot of friends, so it wasn't a long list. But you can sell things, do business with family members, and it will work out as long as everything is agreed upon up front and it's in writing. It has to be in writing. So if there's I thought, pull out the document, slide it across the table. They're like, oh, yeah, we did discuss. And it's squashed. It doesn't even jump off. The fuse isn't lit or nothing. You have to have that type of business agreement in place. Now, if you don't adhere to your end, hey, they're going to jump in your rear, and that's just the way it is. But this is pretty much going to be the gist of your activities this week. You will continue to get what I said, the parts of the books that's still coming along, and we're going to wrap this puppy up. Now let's talk about the new people. There are some new folks that have jumped in. I'm going to actually speed you guys up too, but that won't happen in this video because really when I sent the day 1 through 10, you didn't get all the activities. So I have to go ahead and resend that stuff out, but that will come later in the week. But I do believe that this right here is a good start for the week. And if you're doing what you're supposed to do, especially if a job, this is going to be kind of challenging. And what we're going to do is you're not going to email me as out, because essentially this is your life. This is your business. You got to do it, because if you don't do it, you have no one to blame but yourself. And in the course of doing this, you can luck up on some other stuff. Also, for those of you in small towns, this is an added one. Some of the storage facilities might work with you in terms of just coming to haul the stuff off, Public storage will not work with you unless you have X amount of liability insurance, you're incorporated, and no, they're not going to work with you. But the smaller companies will. So that might be, you might be that inside guy. But the thing is, you got to take everything. You just can't go in there and pull out what you want, then leave the rest. That's the problem. And that's the thing that many people want to seem to find, that utopia, but it doesn't exist. Okay, well, like I said, these things are not going to be that long. Definitely going to keep them shorter. And that wraps up session 1. There will be another one before Monday. It might be Sunday or Monday. It might be Saturday or Sunday, but there will be another one. And since they're going to be through, I'm going to just put this one up on YouTube and you can view it at your leisure. That won't be the thing. But I will stick with the original concept of just Monday through Friday. Not going to be sending anything on the weekends because, hey, we all need a break. All right. This is Glendon, and I will see you in session 2.